everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today is the second day of Feeding Tube Awareness Week. I did have a shirt, I had it all planned out. Last night I ended up being sick and of course it was on the shirt I was going to wear today, so unfortunately we are stuck with this summery little piece. But regardless, hi, welcome back. If you are new here, please do hit that subscribe button and join the family. So today I'm going to be talking all about feeding tubes. I'm not going to go too much into depth of things that I've already discussed, but I will leave the related videos down below and there'll be links. So if you guys want to learn more about feeding tubes and, you know, my medical conditions, then I'll leave links down below for you guys to go check out those videos. But today I want to focus it on not just myself, I want to focus it on other people who have feeding tubes, and I want to get their opinions of how it affects them. So I did a video similar to this where it was called We Are the Faces of Chronic Illness, and I will leave the link down below to that as well. And I wanted to do something similar but not quite the same, because obviously this is Feeding Tube Awareness Week. I want this video to be about feeding tubes. Now I've already done a couple of videos on my feeding tube, so like I said there'll be links, but this is going to be more focusing on, like I said, how it affects other people and the different types of feeding tubes, and just letting you guys know that there is a lot of people out there with feeding tubes, more than you think, and not just the fact that they have them. A good percentage of people with feeding tubes depend on them for all their nutritional needs, and I just want to say feeding tubes are not something that is taken lightly by any medical professional. It's not something to be rushed into. It is honestly a absolute last resort. You know, like, this is my lifeline. Like, without it I wouldn't be here. So I'm so grateful. As much as feeding tubes comes with, you know, a ton of negative things, they're painful, you know, I get a lot of anxiety when I go out the house, stuff like that, but at the end of the day it keeps me alive, and I am so grateful for that. So that is the main point that I want to get across in this video, how important feeding tubes are. They have saved thousands and thousands of lives, and I know myself and a lot of my close friends that suffer with similar conditions and have feeding tubes. As much as we hate them and as much as they cause us daily pain, we are so thankful that, you know, we have them and that we can, you know, be alive and live our lives the way we do, because we wouldn't be able to do that without our feeding tubes. So what types of feeding tubes are there? So there are a couple of different nasal tubes, and by nasal I mean they go up your nose and then down into certain parts of your body. So this particular tube that I've got on my face at the moment is called an NJ tube, which means nasojejunum, which goes into your intestines. But you can also get ones that go into your stomach, and then ones that go past your stomach but not quite as far as the intestines. So there's a couple of different types of nasal tubes. I'm sure some of you non-feeding tubers may have heard of feeding tubes or seen someone with one. It's quite commonly associated with an eating disorder called anorexia. You might see a lot of people with feeding tubes and assume that they have an eating disorder, but that is not always the case. So just do remember that if you see someone with a feeding tube. The next kind of different feeding tubes that we have are surgical feeding tubes. Now they're basically identical to nasal tubes, but instead of going up the nose and down into the stomach or intestines, they go straight through your stomach and straight into the stomach or straight into the intestines. So they're the different types. And obviously with some of the pictures I'm going to be showing you, some of these people might look completely normal to you, and if you walk past them in the street and they have like a surgical feeding tube, you might not even notice that it's there. You know, it's hidden under their clothes, you wouldn't even know that they're ill. So just bear that in mind when you see some of the pictures and videos, because not everybody has obvious tubes. Now quickly before I do go on to the video, I just want to explain a little bit about why I have a feeding tube. So I have a genetic condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which means my bones and my joints are super hypermobile. It affects my skin, it affects my organs, it affects pretty much anything that could be affected. It affects my heart, and in this particular case that's related to my feeding tube, it has affected my stomach, and essentially my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome has paralyzed my stomach, which means I can't digest food normally the way a normal person would. So I have to be fed through my tube, and the condition's actually called gastroparesis, which gastro for stomach and paresis for paralysis, so paralyzed stomach. It's not completely paralyzed, it's partially paralyzed, so I can digest some days bile and small amounts of liquids, stuff like that, but anything solid, anything like a thicker liquid like soups, are just no. So that is the condition that has caused me to get a feeding tube, and there is so many other conditions out there that require people to need a feeding tube. So just remember this when you're watching the video, that every person you see has different conditions, different situations that they need feeding tubes for, and everyone has a different type of feeding tube depending on their situation. I'm not going to babble on too much, I'm going to play the videos, play the pictures. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Like I said, I didn't want to babble on too much about feeding tubes because I wanted this to be focused on what are feeding tubes and how much me and all these other people I'm about to show depend on them, because it's so important to get awareness out there. But I will leave a lot more information in the description down below where you guys can go check out all the other feeding tube information if you are interested. But yes, enjoy the video, guys. So guys, that was it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please, even if you don't want to comment, even if you don't want to like, even if you don't want to subscribe, even if you just watch this to this point, please share the video, because it is so important for me and everyone else who was involved that you guys share this video and help get the awareness out there that feeding tubes save lives. They are imperative and so important to keep people alive, especially in my case. And like, I just can't even, like, I don't know who to thank, whoever invented feeding tubes, I suppose, because I know I wouldn't be here without mine. But yeah, if like I said guys, if you don't do anything else, please just share the video and get awareness out there, and I'm sure everyone will be grateful for your support and trying to spread awareness. I really hope you guys learned a bit more about feeding tubes if you didn't already know. And like I said, there's a lot more information down in the description if you guys want to check it out and explore the feeding tube world a bit more and find out a bit more about my conditions. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video though, please do give it a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and also hit that subscribe button down below. I love you guys so much, and I shall see you soon for a new video. Bye guys.